But yeah, Boz Twitch has officially come out with a statement about the view botting issue, the embedding issue. It definitely prevalent in streaming, especially on Kick. I would say definitely seen it myself on Kick, but now you're starting to see it on Twitch. And there was a couple that I'll speak about that were a bit crazy, very like heavy level view botting, like very obvious. But anyway, let's read the statement, shall we? A quick update on view counts. We have teams and tech dedicated to ensuring that the views that show up on channels reflect actual viewership and aren't artificially inflated in any way. Ultimately, metrics on Twitch should represent the real and growing communities that show up in the participate on channels. We regularly update detection tools and methods. We recently made changes that meaningfully improve our ability to identify view bots, inauthentic viewership, and other potentially fake engagement. These changes will roll out over the next few weeks. Now, before we go any further, the reason that they're saying it this way is because not only are people view botting obviously for money and clout, that's obvious. They need to stop that. But people are getting attacked, like Viewbot attacked. So what I'm going to talk about is there was these streamers that got together and did this ad, right? They did a sponsored stream, and it was very heavily view botted. So things like that are definitely going to play a part in the visibility of these sponsors and how much people are getting paid. And it could be hostile, right? It could not be just a streamer wanting to get big. Some of these people that were going through that were trying to end the stream. Like they wanted to end the stream, but obviously their hands were tied because of contracts. Obviously, because it's a sponsor. So if your channel is view botted, or if some of your viewers are artificial or inflated, you will see an impact to your channel's view count. This also means that third-party sites that publish unverified Twitch view counts are going to see changes to that data over time. We recognize that view botting can be out of the streamer's control, which I just said, right? It could be somebody else doing it to you. Probably not the most common, but it happens. In making these changes, our goal is to improve the experience for both the streamers and the viewers, which is very, very good that they're coming out with this, because it's a heavy topic that needs to be 100% nipped in the bud right now. It needs to be stopped right now, because in a few years, these people are going to get so creative that if you don't start right now, you'll never catch up. So if you don't know what view botting is, essentially what view botting. So I would say there's a few types of view botting. One is regular view botting to bot to have more viewers, and the other one is embedding. Now, I'm going to speak about a couple different parts of that. For view botting, I feel like there's personal and intrusive. So personal, if you're getting 10 viewers every stream, 10 average viewers, and you just up it to 150 on that directory, you can go all the way, depending on where you are, what you're playing at the time, or what you're doing. You could be on the top of the top, yeah, at 150, right? So you could go from no one ever being able to find you to being at the top of the directory. That's for personal gain. Now, the other side of view botting is that people can hate raid with bots, or they could like be intrusive with the bots. They could view bot you from 100 to 400, and it's just all hate bots. And there's definitely been accounts of that, which obviously needs to be stopped. And the other one that has been already talked about, which I'll talk about now, is the embedding side of things. So in the embedding side of things, essentially you embed your stream. For example, if I'm streaming on Twitch and someone takes my URL and embeds it onto a website, which essentially just puts it on the website, every viewer that is looking at that website page counts as a viewer on Twitch, but that's why you see nobody talking. So I'll give it a personal example, then I'll tell you about the most prolific example on Twitch. So for me, I used to stream and I used to play old school Maple, and I never played on a private server because that is not legal. I've never done that. But if I was to do that, the private servers generally do on their website have your streams embedded if you have a certain thing in your title. So if you say whatever their server is in their title, it's good marketing for them. But also, I had like 22 viewers, and I didn't even know embedding existed at the time. I didn't know. It was like 2021, 2019, whatever it was, and I had no idea what it was. And it was just automatically happening. So I had 22 viewers, and I'm like, oh my God, this is huge. I was telling my friends, and just nobody was talking in the chat. I didn't really understand it. I thought people were just watching me, and really it was just artificial viewers that meant absolutely nothing. But on the Twitch tracker, I did have like 19 concurrent viewers or average viewers throughout the entire like 7-hour stream. And I could go to a sponsor with that. Now, not 17, but if I had like 200 or 300, I could go to a sponsor with that, and they're not going to double check if you have real people. You just show probably your Twitch tracker, and they just accept that. That's where it was an issue. And that's where it became an issue for Fextra Life. I don't know if you remember them, but watch this clip about Asmongold talking about them.
This is about me. I will respond directly. It is malicious. I think that you are harmful to Twitch. I think that you are a fraud. And I think the fact that you exist on the platform while obtaining one of the top directory spots is harmful to the platform, it's harmful to the culture, and it's harmful to the community. I understand that Twitch allows you to do it, but it is functionally the same as viewbotting. You are inflating the number of people in your stream when those people are in fact not on your stream. If I paid you money and you gave me the embedding, what would be the difference?
Essentially, Fextra Life was embedding on their Fextra Life website. Now, whether they were botting the website or not, I don't know. But they have 80 to 100,000 viewers, and their chat was moving like they had 1,000. It was very, very bad. And essentially, how they did this was with your website, you don't have to have your website and then the Twitch stream this big on the website. You don't. You could have it all the way at the bottom of the website in the bottom corner, this big, and no one would ever know about it. But you count as a viewer. It's kind of scummy. Now, inherently, yeah, I think that is inherently bad because it definitely artificially inflates your viewers or embeds your viewer count, and then you're pushing people down, right? So instead of someone being first or second place, now they're second or third place. And between first and third, there is a big difference. So I think definitely it was negative, an overall negative for Twitch. So anyway, they ended up like getting called out for it, especially because they were doing sponsored streams. They had sponsored ads and stuff in their panels. Very odd, because I can guarantee you they did not say, you know, we got 80,000 viewers, but there's only about 2,000 of them on Twitch, so you can pay us for 2,000. I promise you they were going to sponsors with 80,000 viewers, whatever their concurrent was. Now, to roll back into that, Dan Clancy had a lot to say about that, but now he also has a lot to say about this. So when Twitch support came out with this yesterday, saying that they were going to update their stuff and they were looking at viewbotting and they really want to hone in on it, Dan Clancy made his own statement, so I'm going to read it. As highlighted in this recent Twitch support tweet, we just updated some of the code that we use to detect and eliminate viewbots. I wanted to quickly follow up on a few key points regarding the recent update to our viewbot detection. First, I want to be very clear that we always try to detect and eliminate viewbots. However, doing this in a manner that does not eliminate real viewers can be tricky. While I know for some of you it's been frustrating, we wanted to take our time to make sure that we're not inadvertently filtering out real users, which makes sense. Obviously, you can try to nip it in the bud super quick and do it wrong, and then it's going to hurt people that truly should not be hurt. For example, Will Neff with the progressive stuff, which I'll get into, or Caroline or Botez sisters with this progressive stuff. I mean, if they were insta banned for this stuff, or they pulled the trigger way too quick, I mean, you're hurting the livelihoods of others that were targeted by these bots, not using these bots, right? Secondly, I want to highlight that bots come in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes streamers may be actively working with third parties to inflate their numbers. In other cases, the bots may be used to harass streamers. We don't want either type because average concurrent view count is intended to be a measure of people or the people that are watching the streamer at any given time. As is always the case, detecting view bots is a bit of a cat and mouse game as third parties work to avoid our detection. We will continue monitoring and make updates over time to improve our view botting detection system. I hope that they really do this well. But I've been a COD fan for the last, I don't know, 15 years, and the last 3 or 4 years since it's been on PC. I think Cold War is when we truly went to PC. Yeah, we haven't had a good anti-cheat or detection system. So if Dan Clancy can figure out a better detection system with a quarter of the money, not even a quarter, probably a percentage of the money, 1%. Then that'll be great. But I wouldn't hold our horses to it getting extremely well or good, but I hope it is, because it would do the platform better. And I'd love to see all these people with 15, 20, 30,000 viewers just absolutely tank and have 800 viewers because they were botting the entire time. Now I want to speak about someone that did viewbot and embed, but ended up stopping, and that's how he grew. So I think this is a big issue because people can view bot or embed. So for example, if I'm getting 5 to 10 viewers, which is pretty common for a small streamer, I think that's probably a top 25%, top 20%, top 15%. It's not that crazy to get 5 to 10 viewers. But when you go up to 50 viewers, that's when it gets kind of insane, right? So you could bot up to 50 viewers and you're in a small category. you'll be pretty far up. And then once you're comfortable with the 50 viewers and you have a true like 20 viewers because people are finding you over time, right? Give it a few months, then you go from 50 to 150. That's where you see a big change. For example, in the Mario Kart World category, you can go from 50 viewers, which is like the fourth row down, which is very hard to be discovered, to literally the first row. From going 50 to 100, that is it. It's 133 viewers. If you go from 60, 70, you can be 75 and then go up to 133. It's only 50 viewers. It's only 50 viewers, but it brings you all the way to the top of the directory. That's where it gets dangerous. And this guy did that. So his name is Baggins TV. He started out streaming years ago in 2017. And throughout that time, he streamed to, 20, 30 viewers. I'm sure he wasn't embedding at that point. I'd say he did have a decent little community. And he just kept going and going and going. And year after year, he was not growing because obviously he probably wasn't posting on Twitch or on YouTube or TikTok and stuff. Obviously, TikTok didn't exist until Anyway, essentially, around when New World came out, he had a explosive few streams. And again, with Lost Ark, 15, 20,000 viewers. And obviously with drops and New World hype, I get that. But then you look into it and look at Asmon pressing him on that.
So you've gained 65 followers after streaming for 4 hours with 6,000 viewers.
That doesn't sound right. I mean, there's a lot coming in right now, but I think, maybe some of that to do with you.
Well, how about this one here? So this is a stream that you did on November 29th, and you had 7.9 thousand viewers, and you had 14 followers. And if you look at Go ahead.
I don't know. I gotta have to dispute that. That doesn't sound right, man.
Okay.
I took off the embed earlier on this year, man. And you know what happened?
What?
I dropped like 2, 3, 4 places down in the directory, and the people who were above me were people who were fucking embedding. Like, that was all it. So I was like, all right.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's you goddamn right. I understand it.
So as Asmon notices, and which I'll get into further into the video, generally, if you want to speak about someone that is slowly growing over time or growing at an okay rate and aren't in a big controversy or had big controversies or are falling off, generally every stream, I would say you want about 5 to 15% of your viewers actually convert to followers. So for example, if you have 8,000 concurrent viewers, you should have anywhere from 300 to 800 followers that stream. Now, it's not guaranteed. It's all case by case, but I'm going to build my case by case with what I show you next. But essentially, Baggins had 8,000 viewers for almost 3 hours and gained 14 followers. Brother, if you had a 1% conversion, you have more than that. You get 80 followers. You didn't convert 10% of those people to following, and you've been streaming since 2017. Anyway, it essentially came out that he was embedding and he was viewbotting or whatever it was. And he grew to a point to where essentially he was able and known enough to stop viewbotting. And now he gets like 1,000 to 2,000 viewers, and they're true viewers. Hilarious. And the way he explains is like, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, or the game's the game. So there's people that like that are truly doing it. And sure, they took advantage of it before it got popular or known. Doesn't make it right. Anyway, like I said, I want to show you guys a few people. And this is a guy, Ari at Home. I watched him at 150 to 200 viewers years ago in 2021, 2022. He kept grinding, and he's essentially a music streamer that goes out in the streets of New York and different places with his keyboard, like his piano and stuff, and makes beats and gets people to rap on him. He exploded this year with short content, YouTube content, and now he gets like 2,000 to 3,000 viewers every single stream concurrently. Absolutely incredible. Hats off to him. I loved seeing the rise of Ari because he is great. But like I said, 5 to 15% viewers to follower ratio. He gets about 3,000 or 2,500 people watching the streams concurrently or as a max viewership. And you're looking at 300 to 500 followers every stream. Makes sense. Actually, that's way higher than I would anticipate. I would say probably 150 to 250. So he's doing very well. Obviously, is on the up and up, and that's what's going to happen. Let's talk about someone more consistent that has blown up years ago and have been on a plateau since probably January 2024. Queso. Queso does about 50 to 75,000 concurrent viewers, maxing at around 75 or 68, 69, 70, around there. So you'd assume probably about 2,000 to 5,000 followers every single stream if you're going by the 5 to 10% or 5 to 15% ratio I'm talking about. That's what he gets. 4, 5,000, 3,500. Makes sense. He's getting the amount of viewers that he should, or followers. Followers aren't everything, again, but I'm building the case. This is the second person I've looked at that I believe to be an actual true streamer with a true audience. Another one would be Kai Cenat. I know everybody wants to hate on AMP, and maybe there are people in AMP that definitely view bot or whatever. I don't believe so, but there is a world where maybe they do. Kai Cenat is not one of them. I don't think Kai Cenat is a view botter. I don't think he's an embedder. I think he truly is just mainstream and very popular. Because if you look at his followers to max viewership ratio, as I have here, I mean, 70,000, 50,000, 70,000, and he's getting 15,000, 5,000, 10,000 followers. He's getting that 5 to 15% that I was talking about. This is where it gets weird. So on April 29th, Will Neff and the Botez sisters and Caroline and Sushi Dragon and all of them, they all did a sponsored stream for Progressive. This sponsored stream essentially was just supposed to be a little activity that they were going to do for Progressive. And so they were streaming for 4 to 8 hours. I don't know. But so you're looking at 31,000, 35,000, and 33,000 viewers throughout the stream as max. After he changed a couple titles and he had part 1, part 2, and stuff like that. Let's say he averaged 30,000 viewers. He gained 50 followers out of 30,000 people watching. Now, he has mentioned afterwards that he did want to end his stream, but my assumption is that contractually he could not. Obviously, it's something that he's probably just going to stay quiet about because he's like, I got targeted, whatever. I don't know who did the view botting. I don't know if it was Progressive. I don't know if it was Will. I don't believe it was Will. I think he doesn't have a bad bone in his body from what I know. But I would say it doesn't look really good. And to be honest with you, it does not look very good. And same with the Botez sisters. 30,000, 30,000, 30,000, 25,000 throughout the entire stream. And it right back down to 2,600. Obviously, if someone is getting 2,600 or 3,000 or 4,000 viewers, they're not going to 5 times the amount of viewers on an ad, on a sponsored stream. You usually drop half. I don't think any of them had any idea. I think they have been just a product of view botting and intrusive view botting. It's unfortunate, but it did kind of get swept under the rug and no one really talked about it. Understandably so, because it obviously was not them view botting. Someone was targeting them. All that to say, view botting is very prevalent. It is a thing. And embedding is also a thing. And it's nice that Twitch is coming out because it needs to be nipped in the bud right now. Because if they don't do it now, it's just going to get way too difficult to do. And obviously there are great streamers that are growing organically, but I promise you, it's not every single one of them. I would give my bank account to guarantee at least 40% of the people that were at Streamer University were view botting. And hey, quote me on it. Maybe it comes out and they're all growing organically. I'm just saying. I didn't see their chats moving, so I don't know, boys. If you want to see more about someone that's true colors have come out and they're losing followers, not botting them, it's Pirate Software. Anyway, guys, if you made it this far, obviously you don't mind me, so like the video and subscribe if you want to. I guess I'll see you tomorrow, and that's about it, boys. All right, we'll see you. All right, yep, see you, bye.